So I'm attempting to do a Zwift YouTube video for the first time ever. I've been on Zwift for 12 months but not actually recorded anything, so I thought I'd have a go at recording something. Got off to a good start, got my wattage up really high, over 500. This is something I'd always try and do, as most people always try and do at the start of a race. And it was quite successful, but I soon realised that there was an issue, and people who would normally drift past and I would then be able to keep hold of on their back wheel, I didn't seem to be able to manage that. I soon realised why, of course. It was because that I'd done TT race on the Thursday night and forgot to then change my bike back to my normal bike. So the rest of this video is some of the antics I had whilst trying to get my other bike reinstalled. I didn't realise at the time that you actually have to stop completely before you can swap your bike over. I thought I'd try and do it whilst riding, and you can't do it. So there was a lot of issues on this ride, but I thought you'd like to see it anyway. So with the bike successfully changed, I was then back on track, being able to draft. My only issue now though was that I obviously didn't have any bikes to draft with. I dropped a few places back in the rankings, so I dropped about 10-15 places whilst doing the bike change, and I was just out on my own in the middle of nowhere, so I wasn't going to benefit from being able to draft with anybody. Plus I found that when I was riding, whenever I was catching up with somebody, I would be able to go just straight past them. so the drafted effect didn't really last that long. So all in all, it wasn't the best of rides, or best of starts anyway. I was putting a huge amount of effort in to try and catch up with everybody. I've got a competitive streak, which means that I wanted to get back to the position I'd stopped at, and I was struggling because of it. So now what's happening is like I said, I'm got huge big gaps between riders. I'm putting all my effort into catching up with one person, but then feeling the need to then try and catch up with the next person. I never at any point found a group that were going along at a similar speed to me. I assume that's because they were too far ahead of me and I wasn't able to catch up with them. So I'll probably skip a bit of the video now. You'll just see from the gaps and the timings on the right hand side that I catch quite a few, and then towards the end I actually grab hold of a group and stay with a group and actually get a rest, and you can see my power output on the graph at the bottom of the screen change from being in the reds and the yellows down to, I think it becomes a blue later on. So I'm up with another rider that I've clung onto the back of, and I'm going up the hill and putting in a fair bit of effort, as you can see from the wattage, and I've left him in an attempt to try and catch B Payne going up the hill. So I continue to put the effort in, putting out some good wattage for me really. This is, I feel quite strong at the moment, keeping it in the really low gear and eventually catching him. You'll see when I do actually catch him, his attempts to get me to go past him so that he can draft off me, but I literally haven't got the energy to get past him. My bike slips in behind him, and you know that sometimes you can get like that sticky thing where you can't get out and get past them. So I'm stuck behind him, and you'll see him start to wave me through now, but I literally couldn't get past him. You'll see how my energy levels drop. He's waved me through again and still can't get past him. I'm taking a breather as well because I've put in a huge amount of effort up the hill. So I hope he didn't think I was taking the mick. But I just couldn't get past him. It takes me a good while to get past him. And when I do get past him, he goes straight back past me again. So he was probably a little bit frustrated with me in this section. So in that last little section, you could see that I was able to get away from B Payne again on the upslope. Again, putting in the effort on the upslope, managed to lose him, and I was able to crack on. I then came across quite a few people who were going considerably slower. I think they might have run out of energy, but you'll see that there's a few of them who have come up with quite quickly and passed quite quickly. We've only got a few K to go now, and I'm hoping to get hold of this bigger group slightly further up the road, and then you'll see on the graph at the bottom of the page my wattage will decrease whilst I get a little breather in towards the end, because my main plan is just trying to finish ahead of all the ones in this little small mini group. I can see that I'm not going to catch the group ahead because they're 29 seconds ahead. So there's no way I'm going to catch that in the last 3k. So I just thought I'll just stick with this group here now and just see if I can work to the end of the race in a sprint. So I've stuck around with that group for a while and thinking that we'll just go down to a last little sprint at the end, but the person in front of me, Mr. Hewitt, has got other ideas and he decides to head off early with just under 1k to go. So I thought I'd try and go with him. I'd try and stick with him and get in his slipstream. It's obviously easier if you're in somebody's slipstream, so I just stuck with him for a bit in the attempt that I'd get down to the usual 0.3k to go, and then I would go past him and he wouldn't be able to keep up with me. But the plan didn't really pay off, as you'll see now. So that's the end of the ride. I ended up putting out a good watts per kilogram for me. At the top of my game I would probably do 2.4. I did the 2.5 on the TT that I talked about on Thursday, which was a massive effort, so 2.4 was really good. So couple that in with the fact that I had to stop in the middle of this race and started off on a Zwift bike. I was quite impressed with the actual ride itself. Not the way I'd planned it, of course, but you know, we learn from our mistakes. So that's the end of the first video. I'll probably post a few more from time to time. I don't know if I'll be getting into it on a weekly basis, but hopefully you enjoyed it and you'll click and subscribe and maybe watch a few others that I hopefully do in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.